Check, check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Salute everybody. Let me run the audio check. What's up, everybody? Salute everybody. Let me run the audio check. That was my audio check, right? Audio check. What's up, everybody? Salute everybody. Salute everybody. Let me run the audio check. That was my audio check, right? Audio check. What's up, everybody? Salute everybody. Salute everybody. Let me run the audio check. That was my audio check, right? Audio check. What's up, everybody? Salute. All right, all right, all right, all right. I was about to ask everybody if you can hear me and how am I sounding in the headphones. I think we just confirmed that right there. So what's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Y'all see the internet going crazy. This your boy Purple Timing Podcast. Welcome to the blast. We blasting off, man. We simulcasting live on 3 channels right now. Perfect Timing Podcast, Perfect Timing Podcast Live. I'm also live on Facebook right now on Patrick Potter. Make sure you follow me on all platforms: Instagram, perfect_timing_podcast, Twitter, Perfect Timing Podcast. Get with me, man. We doing big things all over the world, all over the map. The shorts and the reactions have been it's truly beneficial. I want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. We've grown exponentially in the last 2 months. I think over 300 over 3 or 400 subscribers, and we just reached 250,000 views. So thank you to 5.0, everybody who was there from the beginning. We just reached 250,000 views. I'm very proud of that fact. So let me make sure that everybody, and make sure you vote as you come in, hit the like button. What's up? I'm listening. This is going to be another one for the books. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening here from the beginning. I'm listening here from the beginning, beginning. You know what I'm saying? Some people be here from the beginning. Some people be here from the start, but they don't be here from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference being here from the start, being here from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening, been here from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? We go back, way back, like Fox on the Cadillac. You feel me what I'm saying? So shout out to my brother. I'm listening to the whole 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. It's phonetically sound. So this is going to be a good conversation for the books. Make sure y'all tap in, man. Share the podcast. Let everybody know right now we live, man. We lit. We shared it on Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. So we about to have a conversation. And please join the conversation in the chat. Let me know how you feel with the poll. We blowing up. It's blowing up right now. This conversation about Kanye West. It's really been bugging me. I've been wanting to talk about it. I actually was going to do a pre-recorded. I still think I'm going to do a pre-recorded because it's, the podcast has been moving in a different direction. I haven't done a live stream in a while. And it's just because of the goal of the podcast is growth, and the shorts has been producing the growth that I've always wanted. So, but this conversation had to be had, right? And some people may be surprised. Some people may think we have to have this conversation because I feel a certain way. You may be surprised if you ever listened to Per Time Podcast before. I want to show a couple videos, and I'm gonna break down a couple things. Let me get my opinion from where this starts off. Now that we got people coming in, shout out to everybody coming in. Make sure y'all share the video. Let everybody know we're gonna have a real intelligent adult conversation about Kanye West, the recent events, as much as we can. Within the rules of YouTube, without offending anyone, because it's important in the climate that we don't offend anybody. Because I want to make sure that the platform remains that this vehicle that God has intended for us to be used. May everybody be blessed as they come into the chat. May this conversation be blessed and be progressive and productive in all will. I'm going to start from the t-shirt, my perspective on the t-shirt by the math, right? And I've said this in the comments in a lot of different places, right? So I'm going to start with the comments from the t-shirt, right? So I believe by math, we missed the opportunity with the t-shirt. Recently, I was celebrating that gas went down to $5.50. Gas was almost $7 back to $8 again in California, right? We have inflation, we got Christmas, I got young kids. So we're in the precipice of the midterm. One of the most important midterms that we've had in a long time, right? Why is it, you might say perfect? Why would you say, because people say perfect, you speak very boldly and you say things as if they're true, right? So why would you say that these are the most important midterms? Well, I'm going off of Biden's words, right? I'm going off the administration saying that that we're in the most important times because of what Putin is threats, that we're on the precipice of World War III. You guys saw our nuclear attack. You guys saw the bug out bags in New York, right? We didn't pay much attention to that. Then they gave out bug out bags in Denver. Now they're giving out bug out bags in Colorado. The last conversation that I heard is that the reason that they're giving out these bug out bags is because they don't have a plan. There is nowhere for us to go. They're giving you a bag, but there's no bunkers. There's no national shelter system for us, right? So where do we go if there is this nuclear explosion? So this is my issue with the T-shirt and all of the anger that's being directed at this black billionaire. The T-shirt, I believe that it's been a manipulated plan to take away the energy that was created by artists and deflect away from inflation, recession, gas prices, and what we're really angry about. Because people obviously are angry at Kanye West. People have been angry at Kanye West as an artist. People are angry at the fashion. People are very angry at Kanye West. But no one has been able to articulate why. But that's typical of anger, right? Shout out to She, we hear in the Black Manosphere, we talk a lot about feelings, and people say, I feel this way, and I felt that way, right? Well, anger is a feeling, and I've been seeing a lot of emotion, but I haven't heard concrete science about why you feeling that emotion, right? No one has been able to articulate their emotion about why they're angry. But the reason why art exists, the reason why he is an artist is to trigger your emotion. And you may feel anger, you may feel sadness, you may feel joy. But the point was completely missed. And the reason why the point was missed is because I believe there was a media agenda to take away the anger and inertia that we all feel during the midterms as we go into the voting booth. Because without being angry at Kanye, what are we all left with, honestly? Without being angry at Kanye, what are we all left with? We're left with the fact that we have high gas prices. We're left with the fact that we have a recession that they're lying to us about, and they changed the definition about recession. We're left with the fact that we have inflation that is unheard of, right? Without being angry at an artist, without being angry at a musician, right? And this is the problem that I wanted to talk about tonight, that people, as a content creator and someone who has observed cancel culture in the way the internet can move on a person, right or wrong, and how it can become profitable for the internet. And if you're that person, then God be with you. If you're that person, then God be with you. It doesn't matter how you happen to feel about Kanye West. This is the thing that's happened since we've had this administration. It doesn't matter how you feel about Kanye West. How you feel is why we have $7, $8 gas, because they told you to feel a way, and if you didn't feel a way, then you shouldn't vote for this administration. And our feelings, our emotions is what has us in about to be in World War III. But what about our future? What about our children's future? Everyone is more concerned about our feelings. But what about tangibles? How are you getting to work? Can you pay? I saw a young lady in Atlanta talking about $1,900 rent in Atlanta. Can you pay your rent? Can you pay your rent? Black women are the biggest ones being evicted from their home. So there is a lot of anger. There is a lot of anger. There is a lot of angst. I understand people are upset. And what if people were upset going into the midterms, going into the voting booth? What if people were upset going into the voting booth in November? With this administration not having a major accomplishment under their belt, what would happen? What happened to the discussion of the red wave? Have you seen how the Democrats and the liberals have sucked up the energy from Kanye West, and now the people who want you to be mad at Kanye West are Democratic and liberals, and they will invoke this emotion, the same emotion they invoked it with Donald Trump, come November, and they will say, if you hate Kanye West, if you hate people like Kanye West, then you have to vote Democrat, then you have to vote liberal. Am I the only one seeing this? Am I on? Let's go back to the t-shirt. Let's go back to the t-shirt. Let's break down the t-shirt by the numbers. Let's break down. Okay, what is everybody emotional about? Okay? My wife, I have a person in the audience right now, Ragnarok, a highly intelligent individual, a spiritual individual. Check this out. I have a brother in the audience, my brother Ragnarok. Shout out to my brother Ragnarok in the audience. Now, he's highly intelligent. He's a married man, a spiritual man, financially sound. The only difference between me and Ragnarok, which actually is a similarity, is that Ragnarok is not the same hue as I. But Ragnarok's wife is the same hue as I, and my wife is the same hue as Ragnarok. So I can see Ragnarok wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt. I can see Ragnarok's wife wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. You can see me wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. You might see my wife wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt. Candace Owens' husband is white. Candace Owens' children are biracial. You could see Candace Owens wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. You could see Candace Owens' husband wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt. What, God forbid, if me and my wife walk down, see, we can't do this now because everyone is demonized it. We didn't have the conversation. The artist was triggering your emotion so we could have a conversation, but we never had the conversation. God forbid I walk down the street and my wife wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt and I'm wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. I live in a city where there's a lot of couples like that. God forbid Ragnarok walk down the street. He's wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt. Well, wait a minute. Ragnarok's not black, so he can't wear a Black Lives Matter shirt. Oh, his wife is not white, so she can't. Why? Do you understand the culture that's being created in this absurd moment over a piece of fashion that was meant to trigger a conversation? A piece of fashion that was meant to trigger a conversation. The t-shirt is a piece of fashion that was meant to trigger a conversation. Babe, babe, babe. The t-shirt is a piece of fashion that was meant to trigger a conversation. The dogs is going crazy because, I haven't been live in a while, so I'm going to be calm because I know that my neighbor is doing this on purpose and my wife is doing this on purpose because everybody loves me and they want my attention, right? But I just asked for a few minutes of quiet. Babe! Babe! Put the dog in the garage. Shit. It's not hard for me to understand how we get here. It's not really hard for me to understand how we get here. People willingly got here. People willingly got here. This is our lack of maturity and our lack of emotional intelligence. We willingly got here. We did not know. We are currently so undereducated, right? We are so disenfranchised. We don't know what to do with ourselves. We don't know what to do with being forced to wear masks, forced to put things in our body. It doesn't seem spiritually correct, let alone constitutionally correct. It doesn't seem right by any way. So we don't know what to do, right? So we have all this anger. So we have a lot of anger pent up, right? And it would have came out. It would have came out in the most important midterms. It would have came out in the most important midterms in November. But instead, we have a very savvy media machine. The reason why I want to do this show today is because it's been bothering me about, the only person I heard talk about this was 19 Keys. The only other person I heard talk about this is 19 Keys. The only person that said something about it was that it was just a t-shirt with 19 Keys. It was not only just a t-shirt, but the t-shirt wasn't even about black people. Or was it? Or was it? See, the problem is we never got to have the conversation. It was a piece of art. It was a piece of art at a fashion line in Paris. It was a piece of art at a fashion line in Paris by an artist who's trying to trigger the public to sell clothing. It reminded me of something, you guys. It reminded me of something, you guys. You know what it reminded me of? I'm gonna pull up a video. It reminded me. It reminded me. I ain't even play anything. It reminded me about in 3 years ago. I looked it up last night because I was gonna do a pre-recorded video. I'm still gonna do a pre-recorded video. It reminded me about 3 years ago where fashion line Montclair, Prada, and Gucci, Montclair, Prada, and Gucci put out Jigaboo, Sambo-esque fashion. Does anybody remember? Put a 5 in the chat if you remember the Gucci the Sambo Gucci hoodie that Thug wore, right? Put a 5 in the chat if you remember the Sambo Gucci hoodie. Do you remember the little Sambo dolls that Prada made that they said was a monkey? Anybody remember that? Do you remember how quickly when the PPP loan came out, do y'all remember how quickly everybody went out to go buy Gucci? Remember the Montclair jacket? I'm bringing it up now. Y'all hang out with me. Y'all share the video while we look for this. But it made me think about that moment. Gucci, Prada, Katy Perry. Katy Perry made shoes that had a black face. Gucci made a sweater that had a black face. Prada had little dolls that had a black face.
It's not been.
And everybody ran out. Everybody ran out to go buy Gucci. Let me share this. Let me share this. The shirt said White Lives Matter. I'm still trying to figure out how everyone got offended by Kanye West's t-shirt. This was truly offensive. These things were truly meant to offend. These things were truly meant to offend blacks. And not just black people, but specifically ADOS FBA in the history of chattel slavery and where these images in the minstrel show and this type of character comes from. Because people say, oh, it's about Africa. No, this character was birthed out of the minstrel, Jim Crow, post, you know what I'm saying? This is a unique to the American black FBA indigenous individual, these clothing lines, right? Do you guys remember this sweater? Remember Young Thug wearing this sweater? Anybody remembers this sweater before we cancel Kanye West? Do you remember the puffy jacket that Montclair had that resembled? Now, how did all of these lines coordinate at the same time? Do you remember Katy Perry's shoes? Does anybody remember the Katy Perry shoes that had the same face? It was a theme. It was a theme that year. The Katy Perry shoes, everybody, the Montclair jacket, they all had similar themes. Does anyone recall? Because I don't remember when we boycotted and stopped wearing any of these things, right? I remember people being paid. I remember this is when Soulja Boy was out and he was paid, you know, to go ahead and rock the Gucci, because Soulja Boy actually has a Gucci tattoo, right? I remember Soulja Boy getting paid to rock the Gucci again. and everybody rock. I remember little Boosie being outside of the Gucci store in Atlanta when the PPP hit, and little Boosie and T.I. talking about you can't get in the Gucci store because everybody was spending their PPP money on Gucci. These are the Katy Perry shoes. These are the Katy Perry shoes. Shout out, fair use is in effect. Fair use. These are the Katy Perry shoes. Did you guys see these? They pulled these. These were the Katy Perry shoes. They said these were not inspired by blackface. Okay? They said these were not inspired by black. Just before you cancel Kanye, I was wondering, because I just wanted to know what made black people so offended. This was the Prada doll. This was the Prada doll that was front. This Prada doll was in the window in New York, in Manhattan. You know them big windows they do for Christmas? This Prada doll was in the window. Y'all don't remember this Prada doll? How many of you have Prada right now? Just how quickly do we forget? Anybody remember this Prada doll? Okay, nobody in the chat remember the Prada doll? Anybody remember the Katy Perry blackface? This is just 2019, just 3 years ago. Huh? Anybody remember the Gucci sweater? What about the Gucci sweater? Nobody remember the Gucci sweater? Huh? Nobody remember the Gucci sweater, huh? Nobody remember the Gucci sweater? Huh? Nobody remember the Gucci sweater. There you go. Where the Gucci sweater at? Where that Gucci sweater at? There you go. Y'all don't. There go the Gucci sweater. Anybody remember the Gucci sweater? I'm showing this to show you when the European fashion houses in 2019 collectively decided, and then in the same year they did the coolest monkey in the jungle. Remember that hoodie? The coolest monkey in the jungle? But blacks still wear Gucci, Montclair, and Prada. But we're offended by Kanye West's t-shirt says white lives matter. And we miss the whole point of why Kanye West made a t-shirt during the midterms for the most important election in the recent 100 years. We're on the precipice of a nuclear war. We're actually in a proxy war with Russia. This is something I thought I would never see as a child. I remember Ronald Reagan. I remember tear down that wall. I remember Gorbachev with the scar on his forehead. We are fighting a proxy war with Russia via the Ukraine. Gas is astronomical. In fact, have you seen the numbers with buying a home? Interest rates have doubled. It would have cost you $200,000 just 3 years ago to buy a home over 20 years. Now it's going to cost you $500,000 in interest to buy that same home. These are the things that would be weighing on your mind as an intelligent voter going into the voting booth in November. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, these numbers affect everybody. If you were a home buyer, if your daughter was going to get married and purchase a home, if she purchases a home now, it's going to cost her twice as much in interest. A 30-year fixed mortgage is 6% when it was 3%. That's $200,000 versus $500,000 over 30 years fixed to purchase the same piece of property. But let's cancel Kanye West because he made a t-shirt that said white lives matter, and then he followed it up with some ill-timed comments. And now we have missed the opportunity to have the talk about race pre-midterm. A black billionaire, an American FBA billionaire said, we're not going to talk about gender. I'm tired of talking about gender. I'm tired of talking about emotions. In 2022, in the most important midterms, I want to talk about race. He changed the conversation to race from gender. He gave the blacks opportunity to focus on race pre-midterms, and instead we gave the ball back. We gave the ball back. We said we don't want to talk about race. We don't want to have a conversation about what Tucker asked Kanye West, do white lives matter? We never had that conversation. People think it's so stupid. It's such a given. You don't know how productive it is for black men sponsored by a black billionaire to start having a conversation about whether or not white lives matter? Nori is a fucking genius. Nori is the genius, a fucking alcoholic, a fucking drunk. You guys didn't get the understanding of the ramifications of what it meant if blacks had a conversation about white lives and whether or not white lives matter, if we actually discuss the subject matter. If we understood, hey, is that Candace Owens? This is by the numbers, by the math. Hey, is that Candace Owens? I thought this was a fashion show in Paris. Did he fly to America to take the picture with Candace Owens? Because that's triggering. Or did Candace Owens fly to Paris and take the picture? Think about the genius and the calculus to have Candace Owens fly to Paris and he wear the black sweater and she wear the white sweater. And instead of seeing any of the imagery, we say, cancel Kanye West. It hurts when he made a white lie. Why did it hurt you? I want to have that conversation with black men. Somebody tell me in the chat, why did it hurt you? I'm getting emotional. Why did it hurt you that Kanye West made a White Lives Matter shirt? And why is everyone a genius? He's the only billionaire. Why is everyone who is not a billionaire smarter than the billionaire? You understand better than the billionaire why he made the shirt? You understand better than the billionaire? You would be a billionaire if you had more intelligentsia than he. It's absurd. Can anyone, Ragnarok, can anyone see how marvelous it would be if we had the conversation? Can anyone see how marvelous it would be if we had the conversation? Can anyone see how marvelous it would be if we had the conversation? Do white lives matter?